So farmer said the combine, it was just an isolator switch on the back of the combine there. So yeah, don't quite know what was up with that, but they put a new isolator on, good as gold. So that's a good thing. At least that was found in the rainy day and not in the nice sunshine. The old road train there, look. She pulls that good as gold. That truck's really nice. Well impressed with that. Stickers look good on there as well. Farmer's had this one in. Got one load in there to dry. Somebody's pushed it over the back wall. This has got to come out, I would have thought. We'll just check the... yes, that's ready to come out. Got to let a bit out, test the moisture. If it's under 14, it's good to go. It will be because we've been drying everything the same. You just pull the little string there, that opens the flap up at the top, and then it just comes out and into this corner here, and then onto the heap. We haven't been doing too much riding about. We were trying to let the sun dry it off so we don't make too much mess around here. That's the thought, but obviously we're in the shade a bit here. We're hoping to get going again by the end of the day, at least. It's going to take some drying out. We must have had ½ inch of rain, so it's going to take some drying out. Tractors are here ready to go. Farmer's got the Bowser. He's going to blow, he's going to do some fueling and blowing off and stuff like that. Keithy started on the setter side yesterday, started mulching that down. Young Dave, I'm sure, will be in later on to continue with that. Yep, plenty dry enough. Now we simply scoop up the dry. I try not to make a mess in here if I can help it. Been trying to keep your tyres in the dry as much as you can when you're filling. You don't want to be out in the dust too much if you can help it, and if you are, you want to have a mask on. If you're out there for if you're out there at all, really, you should have a mask on. You soon know about it in the evening. If you haven't had a mask on, you soon know it. You feel clogged up, your sinuses feels horrible. This will go onto this heap. Once it's dry outside and everything's dried up a bit, we'll get the pusher on, we'll get this pushed up nice. Tomorrow's combining should be done in the dry, so we might have an afternoon today in the wet, but then tomorrow is looking like a nice good sunny day, so we're hoping to get at least a good day's combining in tomorrow. Everyone's getting a bit worried now. They promised us a good week this week and it really hasn't turned into that. So we're all a little bit worried now. We just got to do what you can do. You can't do anything else. We have got grass down. We had that down for hay. So whether that makes, I don't know. It might be silage. We will see. Why is it so hot in here? So a little update on Daisy. Yeah, she is getting better and she can drive if she wants to. But I think she is trying to, get herself exactly perfect before she's going to be doing any strenuous work. We're going to put the tedder on now. The stuff we combined the other night, we got the straw laid out for that still, so apparently the top is drying on that. So Keithy is we're gonna hook the tedder up for him. Keithy's gonna go and ted it out. I imagine it will go to the grass fields after that. We are gonna get on the topper and go and do some topping, and the moment it's dry enough to go combining, we will be combining again. We've got plenty of topping over at Jim's to do, so that's what we're going to be doing this afternoon, until which time we can go combining again. Farmer's sorting the dryer out, blowing it off and greasing it, getting that last load in and out. We're going to ted this straw. We don't usually ted straw. Different things you can do with it when it's wet. We do want the straw, we want to round bale it. You can get these things called wooflers that fluff up the straw, basically let the air get through it like a row tedder sort of thing. You go through the rows and it sort of turns it over and woofs it up, and and deals it with like that. You can, we've gone out there before with the rake and just moved it across one, but it doesn't seem to turn it over as much. It doesn't do quite the job. Or you can just go with the tedder, ted 2 rows at a time, again, then go back out there with the rake and rake them back up. That's probably the better job, you know, proper job. Yeah, it'll be dry then. Tomorrow's straw should be dry. We've got a nice day tomorrow. Friday is looking iffy, so we don't know. If it stays dry, we'll be doing stuff. If not, we won't. Just tidying up some of these headlands. We're over at Jim's. There's yeah, there's tons of ragwort about as well, so best to get rid of it. It keeps spotting bits here, there and everywhere. You want to get rid of that, that's nasty stuff. You don't want that to linger. You can also, you know, if you've got plenty of that about, you're allowed to top things that you're not normally allowed to top. There's some in the bottom here, I can see it. Yellow flowers, it's quite distinguishable what it is as some growing. It's everywhere, you know. It wants to be nailed because you don't want it going to seed. You don't want it spreading. So I want it to be done. We're just waiting for the corn in the field to dry enough to get back to it. So we're going to be topping till the end of the day. If the corn's able to go later on, farmer will go and test it in a couple of hours. There's nothing else to do. We can top all this set aside now. This is all ready to, we can top it when it comes to cultivation. We can get on there with the cultivator. If you go through it at the moment, you might get through some of it, but you're mostly likely going to, you know, clog up the cultivator. It's not going to go through very nice. You want to chop it up, mulch it down, get it incorporated into the soil. It'll add a little bit extra into the soil structure. A young Dave will do most of that. You know, he likes coming in after work and doing a bit of topping. So we'll leave him the fun stuff, and we'll get these headlands done. It's about 5 o'clock. It's been a beautiful warm afternoon. Young David's coming in to take over on the topper. We got the trailer on. We're going to run a load back, see what the moisture is. If it's 20% or lower, we're going to have a go for a few hours, see if we can get a few dryers worth in the shed there. If it's any higher than 20%, it just takes too long to get that dried down. So we'll see what it is, see what the farmer wants to dry at, and then we'll go from there. It might still be too wet. The headlands are still touching, still quite tender out there, so hopefully we don't get stuck. We might be packing it up in half an hour. We might be continuing into about midnight. We'll just see. There's the farmer. Combine's all sorted now, just some sort of weird isolator issue with it. I don't know what the deal was, but it seems to be fixed now. Headlands are all nearly done round here. There was ragwort everywhere you go, ragwort. Oh, annoying really. Pig farmer's going to put a chopper on because the straw's going to be too wet. So we're going to put the chopper on for this evening, just get enough grain in the shed so we can start drying, and then tomorrow it should all be dry enough to, you know, to lay the straw out and start baling, and there'll be a little bit going on tomorrow, I'd have thought. Keithy's been out here and ted the straw, look. That was wringing wet, he said. He said it was wet, so, you know, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon it's a little bit drier. We can row it back up and it'll be round baled, so yeah, but it was wringing wet. That's the field they did the other night. I think it's about 50 acres. Farmer said there was about 180 tons, something like that, off that field. I don't know what that works out per acre. I will put it in the edit for you. It just did okay. It didn't set any records alight or anything like that. There's too much blackgrass in this particular field. I think the next field we're going into is quite bad for blackgrass as well. Remember this one? This one got flooded out in the spring. Sits next to the river, that one. There's you know, there's still wheat in there. You'll have to combine it, but it won't be a big producer, that one. Combine lights are on. He will unload us down here. We are chopping. We've had enough of the weather now, so any time it's right now, you know, we're on the back end of it really. We should be a lot further on into harvest than we are, so any time it becomes anything like dry, it's just coming in now, because the longer you wait, you know, the crop becomes worse and worse. So the oats are going backwards, everything starts to go backwards then. Farmer needs some room to turn on the... You don't want to be at the back of the combine with a chopper on. Look at the state of that. You soon clog your filters up. You always want to be ahead of the combine when it's got chopper on. This one looks like it might produce. There's patches of black grass in there, I can see it. But it does look not, you know, it looks like it might produce, and we haven't even made it 3/4 round and we've got a tank already, so this might be high, you know, it might be mid-20s and it stops us straight away. So we just see what it is. It's always coming down though with the sun on it. That's the empty. We're going to stay in front of the combine now, so he's going to retract his auger and we're going to stay out of the dust. We'll run to the next bit. We'll take a full load back with us, and we will do our best not to run into anything when we get back there. Isn't the easiest door to get in. Hey, made it without touching anything. It's a miracle. I may have tipped it over the panels last night, or pushed it over the panels, should I say. Either way, I've got some clearing up to do another day. Right, we've got to do a quick moisture test, see what it is, and that will tell us whether we're going to continue on for a little while or not. It's not crunchy like it was yesterday. It feels quite soft, and we're about to see how soft. 19.4. So I will tell the farmer that will come down tonight. That will keep coming down. That'll be the wettest load to come in. I'll tell the farmer and see if he wants to dry that down from there. It'll take a little bit longer in the dryer. It'll cost a bit more to dry it, but he might want to keep going. We're going to swap with Keithy now. Keithy's going to run a few loads. We're going to get a dryer's worth going tonight. We're going to run the dryer tonight. 19.5% on the moisture. That's rather high. It's literally probably on the max where we really want to be drying. Depends on the year, you know. If you've got a dicey year like this, you know, sometimes that'll be the driest you get. Uh-oh, uh-oh, shit now. Piece of... Oh, I love that. Try and speed up. Tractor changes range. Literally pretty much stalls on you. Because it takes too bloody long to change. The one thing Massey need to change is that bloody delay between ranges. It's the only thing they need to change. Keithy's gone to do a load. Farmer's changed field into that horrible wet field, so it's going to be a bit slower coming in from there anyway. But we're going to chop that field anyway, so we've got enough here to do a couple of loads. Coming down, it is 19.3 now. I know it's not a lot, but it is coming down. I need to get this dryer loaded. It's going to be in there a good 2.5 hours. And time is getting on. It'll be pitch black by the time this is finished. I imagine it'll be 9 o'clock before we're anything like. Young David's here, he's taken over the topper. And Keithy's running the loads. It's very tender around the headlands and all the rest of it, so we're, you know, it's just, it makes everything hard work. You've got to keep the weight of the trailers off the field as much as you can. It's real hard work when it's like this. You can sort of, you put your hand in it. Wow, that's 19%. You can feel it, you know, it feels. It's going to take some drying. We're going to be, it's going to be a late night, but we're doing something, I guess. Got to turn the burner on. Just about halfway. Sits above the burner. Running slow into the hopper as well, so everything changes, you know. Running into the auger a lot slower. When it's drier, it runs, they say, you know, and when you deal with it a lot, you can see it, but when it's dry, it runs like water, they say. It's just the friction between the grains that slow it up. First load's in. Sun's coming down. Young Dave's in this one now. He's finished the first field there. See what sort of job he's doing. Keithy said yesterday when it was wet he could see slugs everywhere, but that's a lot better than stood up stubble, so it's all, you know, and it'll incorporate it into the soil a bit better. 18.5% that's come down to now, so getting better all the time. So it's only the first couple of loads that'll be really, you know, a long time drying, but we'll get this one done tonight, and then tomorrow morning Farmer will get one in early, I know, but before we get going. We should have 2 loads through before we get going tomorrow, and we'll be caught up a bit, you know. Keithy's just brought in another load. Blimmin' hell, so it shows how quick that comes down. It started off at 19.5. That dropped down to 18.7, and the last load he's just brought in is 17.5. So yeah, shows you how quick it can come down. So we like to make well, we've got to make a start. We got all of our own to do. We've got all of Alistair's to do. We've got all of we've got a lot to do. We're not even a quarter way through the week. Not even close. So we got, you know, we've got to be doing something. I don't think we're going to have the yields of last year. I just don't. With the wet in the spring and the bad fields, I just don't think we're going to have it. Even so, tend to push it up as high as the panels will let you. Bit of a finesse job, this one. You just sort of got to have a go at it. You don't get good at it until you have a couple of goes at it. Just sort of. Go over the walls if you can help it. You know, the level of the walls, that's where it wants to be. Alright, Dave? Hello. Just doing a bit of pushing up. How'd you get on?
Yeah, not too bad.
Man, what time is it?
8:30, I think.
8:30? Oh, I don't know. I suppose we'll let you go because you have got work tomorrow, so. But you don't see me going home, do you, Dave?
I start 7:30, you know.
I start at 8 o'clock, so you can go home half an hour earlier, that's fine. That's starting to come down. That was 17.5, that last one.
Yeah.
That's better, isn't it? Better than 19, isn't it? Look how far it shrinks at the top of the thing. I fill that right to the top. You know you can see through it now. As the water comes out of it, it shrinks, you see. So essentially you get less for more, if you know what I mean. That's a lot though, isn't it? It shrinks a lot. That was nearly coming over the edge when I filled it up. Just the top of going like this.
There's a few long bits out there. You can't go like really.
No, you can't go crazy fast. No, it's a slow job. And a quick job, but it'll incorporate nicer with the cultivator, won't it?
Yeah.
There's a deer out there, you see it? There's loads of them that end. What are you doing then? Going home?
Yeah.
Having another go tomorrow? Good man. We shall see you tomorrow. It's 10:30 and it's finally coming out. It had already done its heat cycle, but it hadn't come down quite enough, so we had to put it on the burner for another half an hour, and it should be fine now. So yeah, I'm gonna let this empty out, and then tomorrow we're gonna start again. We've got a few load in the shed to dry down, and the combining will most likely start soon. Well, they'll be testing it at 10 or 11 o'clock to see what sort of moisture it is, and hopefully we can start tipping some dry in this shed, but we'll see that tomorrow.